Hey guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today in the Ask SSM video series, got an email from a subscriber. This is a young guy, he's 19, he's been watching the channel for a little while now, and he's writing in asking for my advice as well as you guys with a situation with his mom and dad. You're going to see that his mom and dad got together very young. His mom had him when he was like 19 years old, and the dad is actually not his biological father, he's his stepfather. White Knight, when he was young, got together with the mom and raised him, and he's been a fantastic dad in every way, shape, or form. But the problem is, mom and dad, there's always a lot of arguing going on, fighting, turmoil, all that ugly situation. And he's been suspecting for a while now that his mom is having an affair, cheating on the dad with another woman. A woman that she claims has been her good friend, but if you connect the dots, read between the lines, and all the drama and turmoil that's going on with her, there's something going on. And he wants to know, should I tell my dad? Because obviously, you know, he doesn't want his dad, even though it's not his biological dad, he sees him as his dad because he raised him, he's been great to him, that's very nice of him to do. And he's conflicted, you know. But I thought we're going to go over here, guys, especially for any of you guys that have a situation with your parents. There's a lot of fighting and turmoil going on. Or if there's anybody, you ever had two people you care about, and clearly you know one is doing something to the other one, you know what you should do. So I'm going to go through this guy's story, and I'll answer at the end. He says, "Hello, SSM. I'm a 19-year-old male, and I've recently started watching your videos at the end of October of last year, after getting with and dealing with a very bad relationship. I must admit your work is extremely useful, seeing a lot of the things that you've talked about that I not only noticed in my past relationships, but my relationships around me. However, I'm not writing about my relationships, it's actually my parents' relationships that I have concerns about." Well, given what you described, and I've obviously read this, I can see why you're concerned. For a little backstory, my dad is 40 years old and my mom is 38, and have been together since they were 20 years old and 18. 20 years old and 18, since they were just getting out of high school. And do the math here, that means that his mom had him at 19. For context, my dad is an extremely hardworking man and has always worked 2 blue-collar jobs since I was born. I'm not his biological son, but he has raised me since birth knowingly. He eats healthy, works out, and while always reading and increasing his financial literacy, achieving every financial goal he sets out, and I have an extreme amount of respect for him. That's great. Your dad sounds like a great guy, hardworking, dedicated, great to you, always expanding on his knowledge. That's what I want to hear. But also his dad, from a young age, was the White Knight. Now, we all do things when we're young and don't know any better, you know, but as you can see here, this guy telling the story, his dad is actually his stepdad. He was the White Knight that came in because obviously his mom got pregnant, and he decided to take care of her. And you're going to see how his mother has thanked him over the years for his kindness. My mother is a nice mom, but has a temper and recently got a job after a few years due to a physical condition dealing with stress and pain. My parents have always argued, but lately it is getting extremely out of control and to the point where it is a daily occurrence, and they are often in separate rooms throughout the day. Unfortunately, in varying degrees, this sounds like a lot of marriages. I don't mean necessarily arguing every day, but they're in separate parts of the house, don't really have anything to do with each other, and then the bickering and fighting. Who the hell wants to live like that? And the sad thing is, it's a possibility that you and your sister, because this guy's a sister, may end up in relationships like that if you're not careful, because this is what you observe. It really started a few years ago when my mom got a new female friend, let's call her Sam. Sam is in business for herself and is extremely wealthy and lives 2 hours away. Since she is so wealthy, she often pays for things for my mom, like her phone bill, and pays for all the streaming services that you can, among other things. Out of the kindness of her heart, huh? She is also homosexual. My mom has always had both homosexual and bisexual friends since I was growing up, and I thought nothing of it. Now, not a lot. It's hard to find anybody that doesn't know somebody that is gay nowadays. I have a family member, I have clients, and have friends. They're great people. But that doesn't mean I'm not straight. But in this situation here, you connect all the dots and something's going on. But keep in mind, my dad has never met this woman ever and didn't know at all that she was gay. Well, if she's spending all his time with her and this woman's paying a lot of the bills, that's very strange. He's never met her, but obviously Mom wants to keep it that way. My 17-year-old sister told me that my mom doesn't want Dad to find out that that Sam was homosexual, and that it's a secret we need to keep. Oh, how interesting. Mom specifically wants to keep it a secret. Gee, I wonder why. And here's the deal. I got no problem if his mom is not straight. Okay. But then you end the marriage. Obviously. Don't cheat on your husband who's been good to you and took you in when the baby daddy obviously left. No offense, brother. All that. Then you tell him and you end it and you part ways instead of this shit. However, due to constant red flags and conversations and the things I've learned, I think there might be more going on. There's definitely more going on, my man. My mom, although she says she claims she didn't have the strength to work, she could go out with Sam and do God knows what. My dad often didn't want her going out on these multi-day trips and always yelled and screamed and put up a huge fight and just ended up going anyways. You mean girls' weekends with Sam? This was going on for about 2 to 3 years until about November 2022 when my mom and Sam had a really big falling out. Lovers quarrel? I don't know all the details, but it was an extremely toxic relationship where Sam essentially would hang out with someone my mom didn't like, and she would get upset, or Sam would say things about my mom to other people, and they would gaslight each other. There's obviously something going on. And the hanging out with people she didn't like means hanging out with probably other women that she's jealous of. And round you go. During this time, my mom was all over the place for about 2 months. I don't know how girls deal with ending friendships, but I knew this was not normal. My mom was acting as if she was going through a breakup. She obviously was. She'd be screaming and crying on the phone and throwing things out of anger and was just physically out of control at all times. Or at times. I got to the point where I was telling her she needed to cut her off and that nothing good is coming out of this relationship. She would always tell me that I'm right and would go a few weeks without talking to her and then change her phone number, but they always seem to get back in contact. So you telling her, Mom, this is a toxic relationship, this is not a friendship, this is a bunch of drama and turmoil, and she's like, I know. Doesn't that sound like, guys, whenever you've had that girl that you're friends with or your sister or cousin who was involved with some guy and there was all this drama and turmoil and you're trying to tell your sister or friend or whatever, it's not going to work, he's trouble, all that, and they're like, I know, and they go crawling right back to him. That's what it sounds like. This is a relationship. Yeah, come on. One day, while my mom was picking me up from work, she was on her phone and asked me if I could sit in the back seat. I was slightly annoyed, but did it anyway. I knew this was Sam, but I didn't say anything. She started blasting the radio, so I couldn't hear anything. However, I could have sworn she was talking about sex, but I just chalked it up into my imagination. Oh, that's nice. They couldn't wait to have the conversation when you weren't in the back of the car. A few weeks later, my mom was talking about a club my sister was at in high school that had to deal with the LGBT. She then proceeded to say to me, and this is a quote from his mom, when I was growing up, all that stuff was bad, and I could never tell anybody what I was into or what I really liked. I asked her to clarify, but she said I wouldn't get it and dropped the matter. See what I'm talking about here? I didn't know what to think, so I just tried to forget about it at the time. I just tried to believe that my mom would never do anything like that, and so I let it go. Well, nobody wants to think their mom is cheating on their dad or lying or all these other things, but I'll say what we're all thinking here because I don't want to insult you, my friend, but your mom got pregnant at 18, had you at 19. Your biological father obviously is nowhere to be seen. So your mom made mistakes when she was younger. She made some bad choices and has demonstrated through her actions that she's kind of, a loose cannon. Meanwhile, your dad was the honorable, nice guy who took her in and raised you, and that's awesome of him. And he sounds like an awesome dude. But their actions, young and now, have shown who they are as people. Remember guys, your mom, your dad, your sister, although they are these people, important people in your lives, they're also human beings. and they're going to do things, good, bad, or ugly, that human beings do. Or they're capable of doing good, bad, or ugly they do. Keep that in mind. Except nobody wants to believe that their mom or dad did this or that or whatever. However, for the past 2 months, my mom has been telling me that she and my dad are on different paths. Dude, it is right in front of you. And she really didn't want to marry him and get tied down, and she does not know she can deal with it any longer. My dad has just gotten approved for a loan for a house and wants to move into the country and rent out the current house. So, in other words, you're out of the house soon, your sister's out of the house soon, so he's moving on. And your mom knows your sister's going to be turning 18 soon, a legal adult, and so she's dropping all the hints. We're on different paths, don't know if I want to live like this, blah, blah, blah. It's coming, man. However, my mom wants to go to one of the big cities around us. I'm going into the military in September, so I don't really care. But my mom always talks about that she wants to live her life and make new friends since she has 3 kids once she turned 18. But everyone she tells me this to comes back. But everyone she tells me, he wrote this wrong, comes back a couple hours later and says she was just joking and she's going through a lot and she would never leave my dad. She's not joking. She's 38. 40 is coming up soon. I guarantee you she's wigging out because she's turning 40 soon, thinking, oh my God, I'm getting old. I got to do what I always wanted to do. The kids are now almost legal adults. And remember, your dad got together with her and helped her. Let's remember that. Now, I'm guessing and hoping he's the biological dad of your sister. I'm assuming that. Lately, my mom has started talking to Sam again. However, this time, she makes sure no one is around to listen going on outside, and she goes out to her car and locking the door to her room. However, yesterday night, my mom went outside to talk on the phone at 9 p.m. and didn't come back until 2 a.m. Now, I know girls talk a lot, but that's different. She thought everyone was asleep. However, since I didn't have to work in the morning, I was in bed watching YouTube. She then told Sam, "Good night, babe. Love you too. Sweet dreams." In a soft voice that I've never heard her use. She is very, very loud. I'm suspecting your background here in the description of your mom. I've talked to a female friend about this who is bisexual, and she told me that she has definitely got something going on. Okay, here's a situation you can take the advice from another woman. I don't know what to think about this, or I may be overthinking, but I've had this feeling for a better part of a year now. I know this is not usually the topics you cover on your channel. However, I don't really know what to do at this moment. I think I should tell my dad at times, but I don't want to be the cause of any drama and make things worse. Dude, there's already enough fucking drama. You might as well help him. If you read this, I just want to say thank you and have a great rest of your day. Well, bro, you need to tell your dad. Okay, look, this is a train wreck. Your mom and dad, they obviously, there's like no love left. They're always fighting and carrying on. They're stuck together. They don't want to break up for their own different reasons here, you know. Not that you want to think about this, but I guarantee you they haven't hooked up in a very, very long time. You know, it's a mess. Even if we take the part that your mom clearly has a thing going on with this woman, even then, your parents are miserable, fight and carry on. It's just not going to, you know, they got together way too young. Your dad was a good guy trying to take care of her, but he was being the classic white knight nice guy. And look how she's repaid him over the years, right? It's not going to work out. So, but in this situation, clearly, the writing is all over the fucking wall that she obviously has a relationship with this woman. Obviously, your mom is either bisexual or completely, she's gay. Okay, fine, it is what it is. Okay, no judgments here, but you shouldn't be with your dad and lying to him and lying to you, lying to your sister and cheating on you and your sister. That's not cool. So I think you should tell your dad. I think you should make him aware of these things and go from there. You know, you can, I hope he can keep it quiet where the source of this information is coming from. But even then, but I guess it's a tough spot because it's your mom, and even though she's your behaving in this manner, you do love her, and it's your dad, and even though he's not your biological dad, he's raised you. He's been more of a dad to you than anybody else, so he deserves to know. But this situation with your mom and dad, it can't go on any longer than this. It's a mess. I think secretly both of them are praying for something to happen that it can just end it, you know? Like, can you really imagine these two spend the rest of their lives together? And the description here, you want to see why a lot of guys don't want to get married. This shit. Now, not every marriage is like this. I grew up in a very loving household. My mom and dad, to the day my dad died, were always telling each other they loved each other, held hands out in public. They hardly ever fought or argued when I was a kid. If they had a difference of opinion, they'd resolve it in a mature, rational way. In fact, the only times I remember them getting heated in what I thought was an argument is they'd be debating politics. Both my parents were conservatives. My mom was a little more liberal than my dad. So sometimes they would be debating some topic that was flashing across, you know, the CNN or Fox News or whatever the hell they had on TV or some issue of the time. And I thought they were fighting. They were just debating politics. So not all households are like this. So it's bad. And so I would tell him and say all these different things and say, Dad, clearly I love you. You're a man now and you're going to the military, so I guarantee he respects you. Dad, this is not working. Okay, you fight all the time. There's nothing left there. And clearly something's going on with this Sam character and all that. It's just, you know, part ways. You'll be happier, she'll be happier, all that. Because they stay together, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And your mom, you know, it is what it is, but, you know, it ain't cool that she's cheating on your dad. I'm willing to bet all the money I have right now on all my different accounts that your mom is obviously had the fling with the Sam character and all that, and that's just not cool to your dad, who's been good to her. She's just broken up ended the relationship with your dad and moved on and stuff like that and gone on with Sam if she wanted to. But even then, their relationship is just like, you know, but that's her business. End of story. So, yes, I would tell your dad, I would say it in the best way possible and go from there. Because the best thing that could happen to these two is they split up. Okay, end of story. They'll both be individually happy there, or at least he'll be happy. I don't think your mom is capable of being happy, to be perfectly honest. What you describe of her, I don't think at all. And if she wants to then, they part ways, they divorce, and she goes off with Sam, and she wants to have a roller coaster of a drama relationship, that's her fucking business. It's interesting because as I'm getting older, I hear these stories like your dad's 40 and your mom's 38. Okay, they're younger than me. And so it's just interesting from this perspective now because I've always been the younger one, but now I'm the older one in these stories when I go over them and all that. So I wish you the best, man. But you have every right to say something to him and just handle it right. And then as for you, man, I really respect and appreciate going in the military, and I wish you all well in your career. Take all these lessons you learned here and help you out in your life. Okay, you go in the military, no girlfriends. Don't get in relationships. Sure as hell, don't get married. You all know, you know that. Do everything you can to learn from what you're going to learn, whatever field you're going to go into within the military, because everybody has different specialties and all that. And make the most of everything. And I wish you a safe life. Be careful. Bust your butt in the training. All that. And I wish you the best. And I hope everything goes well for you and your sister and your family and your life. But you can't let this situation go on any longer. And it's for all you guys out there right now that maybe have parents that there's this fighting and carrying on. You suspect something's going on. You got to tell them. All right? And honestly, if your dad was cheating on your mom, I would tell you go tell your mom. You know, so I'm not just being biased here. And so for any of you guys out there in a situation where you feel, you know, your loyalty is divided, you know, and one is doing something to the other person has the right to know. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let this guy know what you think in the comments section about what he ought to do. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.